if you have any questions related to yesterday class or something that's not yet uh what you okay, last week what you did was a coding challenge. Let's see if we can hope we can reach that aspect before we round up. But today we'll talk about, I'll be sharing my screen now. I know, can everyone hear me better? Because there's some
Yes.
a bit new. Okay, thank you. Okay, I think this is the slide. Okay, now yesterday we didn't talk about template picture. You notice that in when we are doing console log, assuming we want to add like okay, I think I should, okay, let me share my um oh, I don't think I have the folder. Wow. Okay, I'll use this folder now, and let me just have my index dots. So this is my index.js. I'll be linking it to my. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be linking it to my JavaScript now, to my HTML. Just like I'll just put that the body here. You don't need to. I don't want. I'll put that the body here. I can just write script and source. That will bring it out. Then my file is just index.js. So this is how I will be linking it, and that was fine. Now I can go to this place. Now I can close this. I can also close this, and this. Why did I close this? So I'll be closing index.html. So now I'll minimize my screen so that everyone can see. And this would be my browser. Okay, now okay, I have to put my index again. So now I'll start the server so I can see. Okay, you are working on, and I believe well, maybe when we reach React, like Johnson, there is one I've forgotten the Twitter handle person. The person usually posts challenge every month. Usually posts was for last week. So though you should also try and also get involved in challenges, especially when you definitely know you definitely know just afraid. Once you don't stop coding, once to keep at least, but the best thing is that be very confident with your HTML and CSS. You join challenge, a coding challenge, all this Twitter home. I think if you are versatile with or Twitter text space, you already have seen that. I think Odyssey or what, I can't. It has that coding challenge that I think everyone should try and get involved in. Open my server now. Okay, let me see if it's working. Uh, please just press the console to log. So if I save this now, okay, that. So now I want to talk about template feature. I'll be using uh, that template feature additional way of writing uh, syntax in Java. For example, now instead of you using, I want to say console.log. Now I want to use I'm a man. Yeah, I'm using this. I'm using this double comma. So now for you to use template, you are going to use backtick. This is what we call backtick. This, if you look at beside your one key, there is this backtick here. I'm going to zoom my screen so I can see this is what called template literal. Beside your one key, there is this how do I call it? This is how it looks. Can you all see it?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So if you're not on your system, I advise when we are having JavaScript or React class, you should you should always be on your system. That's the best way to that would be the best because I can press console log something like this now, and if we don't try it or later on, it will still the concept might be new. And that's why if you are watching a YouTube video, you can watch a YouTube video of 2 hours, you can watch it for 2 days, 3 days. That is normal. You don't need to be afraid. So now this is a JavaScript template editor. There are different ways. So backtick is how you are going to write it. For example, now I'm a man. Now I can use this backtick here, and it work the same way. So now, what does backtick? What does it over us? You can always inside a backtick, you can always write your normal quotes here, like I am a man. You can also write this just like they are written here. But it's also you can also write a multi lines. Like now, this instead of writing I am something like this, just that I believe everyone is using prettier. So you can see it still the same. It will now give like log this out in my console now. You can see now it's not bringing it the way it is it's coming out. So it's not like the normal double inverted colon apostrophe sha. That one is that one it will not identify the line break. But this one, the way you write it here is where it's going to work. For example, now if I come here and I want to say boy, um, let me just say let man let x equals to man. Yeah, if I say let x, I can say man plus man. If I now for you saying this now, if I consider this now, if you notice man is not defined. Wow. I'm saying I want to say S is. Now if you look at it, this one they are together because there's no space. Now I have to come and do something like this to put that space and it will work. But if I'm using back, I can come if I'm using the back, I can come here and said now in back it allows you to write variable. You can write a variable. Okay, you can write a variable like now. If I put x, for you to write x now, you have to use something we call this curly braces. This is how we are going to be writing. If you want to write a variable inside the package, this is how it's going to work. So now this s now it will now understand it. If I put space here like this, and I now put let me say it here, it will understand everything now. And see now the amount of space I put here is still what is here. So that's how we use backtick. For us to write a variable, we are going to be using this dollar sign and this curly braces. That will be for the variable. But if you're not writing a variable, you can write anything instead of using the normal double stuff. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is just another typical example. Welcome. Like now, just like I think this is just a typical example of what I've done. So that's just you can write anything inside. I'm reducing this to our price is 10 or something like. Normally, if you want to use the normal code, you're going to be writing like this. To be writing it. So should be equal total it like this. This is how you're going to be writing. You're writing it like this. Then you now concatenate it plus this times here. Well, I think this is not. I can't write. You have to throw an error. One plus. Okay, does it work? One times plus. You can also come here and write this here like dot. It will round it up to. It's going to write. So this is how we are going to write. If you are not using templates, not using template neutral, it takes our time to write this, and any space you want to write. So, for example, now I can say let my name equals to let me say list. Want to have a list of items. My names should be equals to this. Let's say the first one is okay. I want to have a list of items. That's what I said now. So I can just put the li element here also. I can say Abdullahi. Now I can also come here now. I still have well, the best way to put I should make it same line. So now another name, my name is because you'll be needing this when you are writing inside the DOM. When you are writing inside your JavaScript, you need something like this. So I'm going to close this like I can't read my screen. So now if I move like this and I save this, now if I come here and now do console.log my name. Please, if there's anything I'm explaining, if there's anything I'm explaining that you don't understand, please, you can see now it's bringing out this, but that's not exactly what I want it to be. I want to be able to print out this. How do I write this? Because if I write here, I'm supposed to give us a line break. No, not like this. Sorry, let me just write in. Okay. Okay, this is just an example. Yeah, I'm still right. Okay. I think the content here is supposed to be. Let me put total here. Let me put something like this. Let me put total. If I'm removing this and I'm writing this. Wow. No, we are still having this. I don't want it's supposed to come as a list item. Let me see how it's being done. Yeah, this one works. So, okay. Please, I'll just give me a minute, please. Please give me a minute. I need to.
Guys, please, what did he say that dollar sign means in JavaScript? Please, someone should help me out.
Is it only the dollar sign or with the curly braces?
Yes, the dollar sign. I missed out on that.
I think it's template literals.
Okay.
So yeah, Moisola, the dollar
So
sign is used when you want to like put in a value, a variable that you declared somewhere. So you put the dollar sign with a curly brace. Did you get that?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Malik. Yeah, okay, I think now that you are here, that's easier for me. So when you use somebody asked when you use dollar sign, it's when you want to write a variable inside inside the template literal. That's when we use it. You can write your normal my name is a boy or something like this. You can write it, but if you want to write a variable inside inside your template literal, you have to use the dollar sign. If I didn't put this dollar sign, it will just take it as a string. Just take it as a string like this. Like if I say this now, but that's not what I want to check on why something is not showing. So now, so here it's just bringing it as total, which that's not what exactly what I want. Okay, now for you to be able to write, okay, I think I just remember. For you to be able to write this, it requires us to manipulate the DOM. I think yes, I just remember. You want to put this, if you are going to be putting this inside your screen, it requires us to manipulate the DOM. But I think we are still going to come there. But if you are going to be writing, if you are going, yeah, this one is not console. Yeah, I understand. So if you are going to be writing template literal, or you are going to be writing variables, you need to put inside this dollar and curly braces sign. So most especially when we are doing work on DOM, that's what we are going to be using. I hope that is clear.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So I think that's that about template literal. About writing it inside the document, we are going to talk about that when we reach. So the other thing I'll talk about here is DOM. What does DOM means? And I think I have a simple definition like this. It's just a way of interacting how other language, a programming language, will be able to interact with the HTML file. That's what we mean by DOM. And this is the programming interface for web documents. It represents the page so that program can change the document structure, style, and content. Everything that is inside your document, your HTML, by using with interacting with DOM, JavaScript can change everything. It can change everything there. We have the different type of DOM. We have HTML DOM, XML DOM, and I think there's the third one. Um, there's another one. There are three, but the one we are going to be using is just HTML because that's what we are going to be interacting with. So for you to be able to change anything in with JavaScript, you need to interact with the DOM. So you can always reference this HTML DOM in W3 school or MDN school. So they say when your page loads, it creates something like this. This creates something like what we call a DOM tree, and it will start from document. So that's why if you want to make any changes, we'll be referencing the document. This is how it looks. This is your document, and this is how this is your HTML. The HTML file. It has this element. Your HTML has a file called head and your body. That's what is inside your HTML. And inside your head, we have this title, we have link and other things like that. These are the things there. So this is how the DOM, this is how the structure, this is how it looks. No, just so that's how it works. So this is the DOM. So with the interacting with DOM, this is what we can be able to do to your HTML. You can change all the HTML elements in the page. You can create, you can remove, you can change the style also. So, and you can also remove anything. You can add an attribute, just like as we usually add style to our as an attribute to our elements like this. This is my HTML here. As we can add this href is an attribute. You can also add an attribute from your JavaScript by interacting with DOM, and you can also remove it. So that's why. So it's possible to work with to know HTML, or to be able to work with HTML without even working with HTML. Like, you can do everything with just using your JavaScript. So now yeah, so you can read more about it. I think the document there I referenced it, but now what we are going to do is we'll talk about HTML DOM document. This is how you are able to work in your browser. The document represents your web page. What you are seeing inside your web page is what we call the document. And anything you want to do, you can create elements, you can do any sort of things by referencing the document. So everything we are going to be doing here, we are going to be using our document. So I'll be scrolling down. You can always, for example, now if you want to get if there's an element inside your document that has an ID attribute, you can always use document.getElement by ID to find that element, which you are going to be doing shortly now. So if you want to access an element, the content of an element, what is inside the element, you are going to be using inner HTML. And you can also put an attribute if you want to change an attribute. So there are a lot of things. Anything you want, you can do on CSS. Is what you can also do with the DOM. So now let's write some code. For example, now I'll be clearing just like this note. I'll be creating another HTML page. I'll call it main.html because this is for another project actually. So I'll just use this to create it. Now this is what we have here. You can say W3. Okay. Okay. I just name it DOM. Now suppose now I have, for example, now I have a big element here that has let's just start with P. Hello. Now I'll be linking this because I'll have to link my style here. So you can also link your style on your head by doing style, like I explained. Sorry, by using a script. Source here is index.js, and you just need to put the file here. The file means that everything will work. Everything will be before it read the script. The page would have loaded. The DOM content would have loaded before it read the script. I think there's a YouTube video about learning about this before. Why it is instead if you didn't put this file, it's going to work. And yeah, this script will have to load whatever before you have your HTML time. So that's why we have yeah, so I'm writing before I can come back to my index. I can now run my So I'm having hello here, which is fine. I can okay. Now the same thing is happening here because I've linked it. Now I will unlink. I will remove the link here so that it doesn't there will not be an interference. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So I've removed this link. I believe this page is supposed to be. Don't want to have this. Okay. Yeah. Then our main is being linked to it. Okay. So now how do we get an element that is inside the inside our HTML? We use what we call a global variable here called document. You can see if I do dot now, we have a lot of things. We have a lot of things coming up. If I now say get element by the name of the tag, you can see get element by tag name. Get element by tag name. This get element by tag name. That what's the tag? The tag we are having here is our P. Tag we are having inside this our document here is our P. Is our P now. Now, if I now said now it has if I use I can assign it to a variable. I can say const P because that's the name of the document. I'm saying P. I've taken that P. If I now say P dot inner what happened? Inner HTML. I was expecting a suggestion actually. Inner.html. Thanks to my inner HTML should be equals to hello world. Now, because you are not seeing it, if you okay, three dots. This should work. Okay, it's elements. It's also a simple element. By name, no. It's like that name. This is our main. If I console log this might it's there. Then okay, if I said three dots test content, I think that should work. It's supposed to reflect. Okay, if I remove this, suppose I remove this. This is not the expectation I'm expecting. Okay. Okay, let me reference the document here. HTML DOM. Yeah. The elements. See, document will get element by ID. Yeah, this is something. Get element. So that should work. Get element by tag names is what I use. The inner HTML is what is supposed. Let me see what's wrong with my script. This is our main. Yeah. This dot inner HTML is supposed to work. What did I mistaken? I am inner HTML. Not working. I don't know why. So just give me a minute. Okay, let's try another one. If that one works, then I'll move to further. Let's give this let's give an attribute ID of a name. Let's say PLP. Let's give it something like this. If you come here now, instead of getting element by the tag name, let's get the elements document by get element by the ID of the element. If you get the element by the ID, our ID here is P. Now I'm not saying P dot inner HTML should be this. Let's see if this work. Um okay, it works, but I didn't really know why that is not, but I will have to go back to it. Now what I just did here. Hello, are you with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Now what I just did here is now I want to change the content. Even if I have LO here, if I have LO here, because you can see now it's changing because it's passing. This one is passing. This one will show first because the reason why you are seeing that hello first is because what is this going to read this body first before it comes to the script. It's after this one has loaded like this, then before it now loads after the HTML has passed. That's when the JavaScript will now load. Now what I did here is this. Now I said by using by DOM. DOM is what we use to interact. Now we are using our JavaScript now to interact with our HTML. To interact with it, we have to use the DOM. So, and how to use the DOM, your whole page it's being referred to as a document. If I console.log document here now, you see a lot of things there. Console.log document. Now you can see now this is the HTML document. It has a lot of things there. It has a title. You can see the title of it is DOM. So I can also change the title from here. If I come here and say document, if I come here and say document dot title, I say document dot title, hello world now. If I save this now, this is where we have our title page. If I come here now, these are all things that is available for us. You can see now the title has changed. The title has changed from DOM to this. So this are a lot of things that is available for us inside our document. For now, I'm not saying now we are not saying we want to get an element. This is a method. We call it a method. This is a method inside a document. I don't know. Let me see if you can access it here. This is a method. This is a method inside. So sorry for the noise. I have to unmute my. Okay, so so that's what we mean by document. This is a document now. Now what? So documents. If you want to now manipulate anything inside your HTML, we are going to be using this. For example, now I've got this my p tag here. I'm selecting this p tag by its ID. I can also select it by its class. But if the class is let me use p elements here. If I want to select this element now, I can also come here. I can come here now, write the same thing here. Instead of get element by ID, we get elements by class name. Get elements by class name. So if I now say we have p elements. Because this p, you can use p set here. So now if you do, if I come here now and I'm writing another thing, I say p set, just the same element. Dot say dot inner HTML also here equals to hello. Now I can, if I comment this out now, can see now it's growing by hello because this the way JavaScript works, it's reading from top to bottom. So this one, even if I put this one, it's supposed to be that one will still be the same. And see now because it's reading from the top, so it's reading from the top to bottom. So it reads from the top to bottom. So this you will first read this one. After reading this one, this will be the final one. So now, suppose now we can create another element here. If I say document, if I come here and say document dot create, if I want to create an element, I can create anything. Create dot element. I'm creating elements here. I'm creating elements that is, let me say h1. Now I can assign this, let's say const h1 here. Now I've created an element here. Now you're not going to see it on the screen yet. Cannot access h1. Oh, sorry, this it has to be a string here. So I'm creating this as h1 like this. Now I want to say h1 dot inner HTML should be welcome to Word, like my stuff suggested. I can please not properly closed. So now, for us to be able to see it on our page, we need to append it. We need to append it to our page. Now, just let me mute my mic. I have the picture of the mic. For us to be able to see this, we will need to append it. We need to put it inside our document because it's not inside our document yet. We only use document to create it, but it's not yet inside our document. Not yet inside our document. You can now come here because either you get your body, because if you look at it here, we have this. Suppose this one, let's assume this one is a div here. Now, okay, let's put a div here. Let's assume this is a div. Now we assume this is a div, so it will be easier. Let me remove this class here like this. Now we assume this is a div now, and maybe I want to put an h1 inside this div. I want to put an h1 inside this div now. I can remove this like this. We don't need this again. Now let me assume I want to put this my h1 inside it. Now I'll now say p dot. There is another method called append child. There's something called append child because I want my h1 to be a child of that div. So I'm going to do something like this. So it's not defined. Okay. This one's supposed not to be here again. Now, if we now go to this place now, if we inspect our code here, let's see. I'm seeing, is it? If we inspect our HTML here, okay. Okay, this one doesn't. Okay. Create. Okay, we didn't. I did not put anything inside that h1. So let's say my h1 dot inner HTML should be equals to hello world. Now you can see now it has put this one now inside it. It's out. Let me see how it has. So I can just remove this p dot, append this guide. You can see now if you inside it like this, h1 is here. So that is how I'm creating element. You can, for example, now if I want to create, I can come here and say SQL. You want, as we want to start with, SQL equals to Web2 is also an element. Okay, let's create elements. Create element like this. Now fuel. Now I want to also create a li const equals to. I also create this li like this. Now because our li normally you know our li should be, so I can just append it. Why I want to understand. Okay, so now you can say dot append type supposed to be li. Now if I console.log in our document, if I console.log my ul now, let's see what we have. So you can see I have this ul. It will have it will say a children. You can see now it's having a children. The children is an HTML collection. So now I can now come here and say my li dot I think text content is also there. You can use a text content. What do you want the text supposed to be? Supposed to be let's say, what do we call it? Nigeria as the first one. You can create as many as possible. Now we need to insert this inside our document. We need to insert this inside our document. Since we have a div here, This for let me comment this. This is our div here. So now if I want to insert this one inside our div, we already append child here. We can also append that one p here dot. I want to understand the. Okay, now if you append this, the difference between append child and append this append will add it to the last. It will be the last one that's going to. If I over on this, insert nodes after the last child. Okay, let me explain this. Every HTML element is a node. Every HTML is a node. So now it's inserted as the last child. Why append child? We just add it to it. Now I want this one to be at the last. Then I'm appending my ul to it like this. List.text content is not a function. Okay, let's put in our HTML for now. Okay, inner text and why? Okay, it's not supposed to be a function. Yes, it's not a function actually. We need to assign it. It's supposed to be an assignment. Now you can see now we are having Nigeria as the first list item. We're having Nigeria as the first list item. So I can come here and create another one. Let's say I'm creating, let me say li const li2 equals just the same thing also. I'm creating another element here. So now I can give my li2, let me say Africa. So I can just come here and say, so if I can also append child also. Let's see ul dot append we append our child here and we call it li2. So now if I save it, so Africa 2 is here. So is that clear? So now you can see now we are creating HTML document. If you inspect this now, if you are going to inspect our page now, we notice that we are having HTML page. Now I can also create an attribute. Let me see, is it li dot create this set attributes. I want to set attribute. Yes, you want to set an attribute. What's the attribute? For example, now I want to give it a class. I want to give it a class. I want to give it a class of let me say the LIs, the first one should be let me say I want to have a class of, let me say, Nigeria. Now, if you look at this now, this our li here, the first one here, it doesn't have, you can, like this, it doesn't have anything as an attribute here. It doesn't have anything. If I save now, you have an error. Can't access the school. Okay, it has to be after here. Yeah, that's it. It has to be after like this. So now, if we inspect this one now, if I inspect this like this, you can see now it's having a class of Nigeria. It's having this class of Nigeria because I'm setting the attributes here. I can also create comments. If I come here and I say comment comment equals document not use for document dot create let's see dot create comment. Does it have I think it doesn't okay, I don't know. Let's not I'm not using it, but let's see. Now if we create this document now, we can append it to our inside our same div. I can come here now and said this might be again p dot append to append our document. It will append document this our comment as the last. Let's see what to bring out. Okay, there's an error now. At least pass one argument. So now let me see what the argument is going to be. Let me just shoot hello here. Let's see. Okay, you know that comment doesn't show on our screen. We don't usually see comment in our screen. So if you are not seeing it, don't think it doesn't work. Okay, now you can see now it has now created hello here. This is my first time of using it actually. So now it has created this hello after. You can see now we are having this comment hello. So these are just way of manipulating the DOM. You can change the DOM. You can change what you have inside your HTML using your JavaScript. Do you have any questions? So we can move to another thing, or I can do the school. Okay, now there is something. Okay, now there is something I didn't get. Then let me now try it again. I said document dot get element by tag name. Okay, now I'll be writing under here. I want to write. I want to try that one again. I don't know why it doesn't work, but let me figure it out why it doesn't work. Now let me create a p element like this now, or let me create just an h5 here. Since I'm not writing anything here, since we are not writing anything here, you can just close it like this. You can just write it like this. Still the same thing. Since we are not writing anything, you can write something like this. Work just that this is not that, but if you write it like this work, but I think this is just better way. I don't know why it's making error, but I think this should work also. Let me see, because I'm not putting anything there, so I don't need to let me see if we have error. No error. Since we are not writing anything there, I don't know why VS Code is highlighting this, but since we are not writing anything, we can just close it like that. That's how you write in React. The same thing here, but let's just use it the normal way. I don't know why VS Code is highlighting it. Now I'm having an H5 here. Now if I come here, because this place is somehow jam packed, I can expand this like this. Let me come here and say I want to write H5 here. I want to work on H5 now. So if I want to select the H5, I have to go to select like H5 equals document dot get element by. Now class name is supposed to be by tag name. It doesn't work, I'll have to go to it. It's not an issue. So I'm selecting my H5. I'm not saying my H5 dot test content equals to local jar where I stay. So now if I save this now, if it doesn't work, I have to search because it's supposed to work. I don't know why it's not working. It's not working. Okay, now I've not appended it. Okay, I've not appended. Okay, yeah, I don't need to append it. Let me see. Let me inspect it and let's see. Well, error is as a developer, you can't run away from error, and You always have this. You always have something. Okay, wow, it's not. We having H5. This is my H5. So, uh, um, okay, it's not even closing. So let me just close it like this. Let me close this thing. No, like normal div Amex. I don't know why, but in reality, that's how we write it here. So now it's coming after like this. It's coming after. Now, my question is, why is it not blinking? Who have an idea? It's not elements. Let me add another H5. I'm not expecting it. Okay. I'll search to Google. Allowed. Selecting documents, selecting element by the tagging in JavaScript. Always Google. You are allowed, and yeah, get elements by tag name. Why is mine not working? Let's see. Okay, yeah, okay, I get. Now, okay, now if you understand something, it is bringing elements. It's bringing elements here. Yeah, yeah, it's bringing elements. That means there are several elements. Which one do I want? Yeah. Which one do I want? I want the one at two. If I console log this, it will come as an array. Let me console log H5 so we can see. You can always a developer, you should not be ashamed if you don't get something. You can always find a way for it. So now if I console log my let me just let me remove one H5 here. Now if I console log this, it will give you, it's a collection. You can see it is a collection. It's not even it's even telling me that it's test content there. Now this is how it works. That means it's telling me that it's an array. For example, now if I come here and I say here now, if I say console.log type of H5, let me say type of H5. That's what we have here. It's an object. You can see it's an object. The object is an array. Object is an array. So that's why you are not having it. So now let me now say here now I'm going to put 0. That means I'm referencing to the first one. To the first one inside the collection, I'm referencing it. If I save this now, okay, if I save this now and I go back, I think it's supposed to show now. You can see now Lokoja shows. It's now bringing Lokoja. Okay. So so you should not be afraid of searching something if you don't understand. You don't understand everything. So now that is how it shows. Suppose we are having, for example, now I'm having 2 H5 here. I'm having, if I have as many as possible, suppose I'm having 2. I want to reference the second one. Yesterday, when we talk about an array, we said it starts with an index of 0. It starts from 0, not 1. So this one is 0 and this one is 1. If I come here now and I say, we are having H5 now. Like I say H5 here. So I can remove this 0 here. I remove this 0 here and I come here. And I put it. It's also allowed it to still be the same thing. Now, suppose the second one is an index of 1. I can say dot test content should be log Kogi. Yeah, H5 at 1 is not defined. It's undefined. Why is it undefined? H5 at 0 is this. It's undefined. Why is it undefined? H5 at 1. Okay, I didn't save it. I didn't save this one. Yeah, I didn't save it. You always have a bug. Like you only have something that you only have something. That's how it works. You only have something. Please, a minute, please. A minute. So that's how, okay, so that is how it works. Yeah, so now, so this is how you can write a lot of things. You can start writing a lot of things by doing. But there's another good way. For example, now we can turn this. Now let's go back to our function. Now we can turn this into, for example, now we want to use JavaScript. We are running ahead of time or something. So now, if suppose you can write a function that will be creating an element. For example, I can say function create element. I call it create element. I can just write it like this. Now let's have a parameter. The parameter here should be the element that I want to create. So why am I writing this? So I'm giving this parameter now. I can now say we should always return um let me say our documents. For example, just let me write document.body. Our document.body dot you should now append always append this. Now suppose we want to be using to create element. Let's say yeah, if you append this element now, we are returning this now. Now, okay, there's an error here. It's supposed to be an element like this. Now it's returning this. So anytime I run this function to create an element, let's see if it works and let's see the error if it doesn't work. Create element, and I put, let's say I want to create an H. Okay, let's say H4. I want to create an H4. Now let's see, there's an H4 here. Now let me see. I'm expecting to come as an element. Okay, it's appending. Sorry, it's appending this H4. So now, if I want to write anything here, I am a student, but not a mentor. Now this one, it will always create it. It will keep appending. So this is a function now that I've created now that will keep anything I write will keep adding it to the document, because this is the body. It's adding it to the body of this document. Do you have any question at this point? Are we together? I hope I'm not speaking to myself. Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes. I have a question. Thank you
Okay.
so
Yes,
much
we
for the
can hear
class so far.
Yes.
Yes.
What do you say?
What's the difference between I said thank you so much for the class so far.
Okay.
But I would think I would like you to expatiate on what the difference is between, or the difference rather, between append child and append is.
Okay,
What are the
thank you.
differences?
Append we just append child we just add it to it. Why? Append child we just add it to it, but append we had it as the last step.
Append who had it as what? Oh, it's breaking up.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
You were breaking up, so we couldn't hear you.
Okay, now I said append we had it as the last node. Note in when we are talking about DOM, each our HTML element is a node. Each HTML is a node. So when append we had it as the last one. For append child, for example, now let me use append child here. Let me use append child. Let's see what happens. Append child. Now, let me refresh this. Now, the reason why it's not going to work for this is that this body has a lot of this document, this body. Let me sorry. So in essence, append child, append added at the last DOM element. Now you know inside our body we are having so. But if you are let's if you are using I'm using append. Just know that append will have it as the last thing of there. If I create another, if I use another create element here, and I use and I'm deleting the content I have here, and I said hello world. This hello word here will always be the last thing. Why? It's supposed to be. Oh, I'm creating an element. Append child or append. Okay, this hello word. Yeah, this is the hello word. But yeah, it's creating it because it's not an element. But if I want to, I can say for example, now if I want it to come another line, I can come here and say const p, which is a block level element. Const p equals document dot create element, which is p. Our p here, let's say our p dot inner our inner HTML should be our elements that we are bringing in. Then we should append our p. So now if I save this now, you can see now it's bringing it, everything is now p. If I'm writing another one here, it will come as the next line. When I put hello words here, it will come another line. So now it is appending it as append is what? It's adding it as the last DOM element. Why append child? When we use append child here, it's just going to add it to it. But append will always come as the last. Is that clear?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
Thank
sir. I have a question, sir.
Okay.
Whenever you want to manipulate the DOM and then you do, okay, let me say for instance, on line 12, okay, line 11, you did
Okay.
const li2 document dot create element. Is it compulsory for you to always append child?
Okay, thank you. For example, now, whatever we are doing here, to know the document is not aware until we put it there. Like, we need to put it inside the document. Like, for example, now, let me maximize my screen. This whole page is a document. Now, let's go to, let me inspect it now. You can see here we are having this page now. All this doc type, all this we are seeing here is the document. You can see this is our body, this is our HTML. Our HTML is inside our document. This is our document itself. That's why when I console log HTML, you'll be seeing everything here, your title, your everything is there. So for you to be able to put it, you have to tell them that you should put this thing inside your document. Like for example, here I'm saying that you should put it inside the body of the document. You know, inside the document. Like now, if I console log my document here, it's a window object. Let me see. Yeah. If I console log my document here like this now, but you know that document is a reserved name. If I console log my document here now, let's see what I have. You can see I'm having HTML document. It's even telling me the link. So this is everything we have here. Now, if you go it one by one, it's very long. We're having the URL, we're having we're having anchor. See, this is our body now. I'm telling you to put inside my body. Inside my body, this is what we have. Inside my body, we're having children. The children we have, the first one is the node. I say each element is a node. Inside the node. This child node is a list. Is an array. We have a text there here. We have something called a text here. We have a div that have p. These are the nodes that we have here. So now, so we have the h file. You can see how it looks. This is how it looks here. This is the class list here. We don't have any class list for now. Class is just class, the array of the class. So anything you are doing, you have to append it to the child. For example, here now, this my yeah. Thank you. So now this my, if you look at it here, I'm creating these elements here now. After creating this my UL, this my UL now, I now append it. I append it to my, you can see now, I'm sending P. This my div that is inside my documents. This my div that is this div here. This div that we have here. I'm now appending anything I'm creating here. I'm appending it. And I'm saying P, this is the div. I'm appending the comments. I'm appending the child. I'm appending the so anything you are doing, unless you have to put it inside somewhere. You have to put it inside somewhere. The parent is the document. So document.body, document.create element. So all these things, they are there. I don't know if that my explanation goes a long way.
Yes, you did, sir.
I think we should just when you have the task, someone, if you are, please, I'm not seeing my screen simultaneously. If you have any question, please just unmute your mic and ask, please, so that I will not delay you. Now we work on, now let's move to callbacks. Callback. What do you mean by callbacks? As I explained here, callback is a function that is being passed as an argument. Callback is a function that is being passed, any function that is being passed as an argument is what we call a callback. You know, we are calling, we have arguments. We call, when you pass a string and inside, when you pass something, we call it an argument. So, but when we now put a callback inside, if you pass as a function, we put another function as an argument, it is called a callback. I'll also be using the W3 school to make further explanation. I hope this class is, I don't know, are we getting it? Or I'm making it complicated. Can someone answer me? Or let me call, I think that I have someone that I want to call. I have someone I want to call. I want to call someone. Or anyone can answer. I don't know. Where am I in the list? Okay. I have someone I saw yesterday. I hope it's how is it? How is it going? Is it looking interesting, or it's getting complicated? She's not here. Yeah.
It's getting complicated. I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
Well, you definitely get it. Just I remember when we were being taught also, after the class I have to go through over it. But just know that the way you interact with your in your HTML is only through your DOM. So, and your DOM, everything inside your DOM, you have your document, and your document contains everything you are having on your page. If you want to change your title, if you want to change your anything you want to change, you have to, it's inside your document. You can always append one or two things together. For example, you can create an element and you append it inside your body. So all these things happen. So it is possible. So now it is possible for us to write something in our browser without using HTML. But we cannot make something interactive without using JavaScript. I just hope you can go over through the class again and you have a better understanding. Let's just like that. So now we are going to talk about what we might call back. As I explained, is a function that is being passed as an argument to another function. When you pass a function to another function, it is called a callback. A callback is a function passed as an argument to another function. If you're able to know it offhand, it's very simple. So now, Java, as we say, the way JavaScript works, it works like from the top to bottom, from top to bottom, from top to bottom. Now, for example, now I'm using this. I'll be using this to for example, now we're having two functions. One function said, now we're having function and another function. We're having one function and another function now. But if you look at this now, this is my first is a function here. There is another function inside it called my display calling my displayer here. Now, let's just use this now, and okay, let me use the example of what they have used here. Suppose we have this function called my displayer now. Let me write it. We are saying function here. We are giving a function. Let's call it my displayer, as they call it, my displayer. This is the name of the function. Now the function here, um, it takes any word that you put into it. Let's call any word here, and you now say now, you now say document dot body. Let's just say document dot body dot append. Let's just use this append. Anything we write here is going to append it, just like we have done there. To append the word here. I think this function is somehow straightforward. Somehow straightforward now. Now, for example, now we're having this function here. That's okay. Let's say my first here, as the do it here, my first here is the function now. I can just copy it so that to save our time. We're having this function here. Now, this function is, if you look at it, inside this function, we are having this another function, isn't it? Now, what this function is that when you call this function now, it will also call this one. Then it will now call this. So now, for example, now, if I say my first here, let's go to our browser. I'm sorry, I'm having multiple browser, but it's because I'm working on several things at the same time. So now, I'm calling my first here. Let's see what we have. And see, we are having hello here. Let's say hello. This is my displayer. Now you can see now it is bringing it here. Now, how does it work? You notice that it is inside. You know, I didn't call this my displayer. I didn't call it itself, but I'm calling this function here inside this function. So now I can also, another way of doing it here. I can come like this and say, okay, let me use the document so that we'll always be on the same page. So now, so that's how it works. The way JavaScript works, it's really from the top to the bottom. So now, this is another example, a calculator now. This calculator takes two number. It has two number. I think this is very simple. Now, okay, this is where we are going now. If you look at it here now, okay, now this is the callback now. For example, now, I'm writing this my calculator function. For example, I'm saying, now please let's look at it. Function my calculator. My calculator. This is the function here. Now let's say the function takes in three arguments. Remember, we say a callbacks a callback is passed as an argument to another function. Suppose it takes three things. Suppose it's taking, let me say, the first number, which is x, and the second number, which is I, and it's taking another callback. It's taking our callback. For example, now let's just say it should let sum should be equals to x plus y, as we have it. After you has do it, you should call this callback. This function, you know, it's a function. This function here, you should call it, and it should pass in this. It should pass in our sum. What happened here is that any function. This is what now JavaScript will do under the hood. Any function that will pass as the third parameter, it will put in this sum as it. For example, now I can now come here and I call my calculator here like this, and I say my calculator here. Now say I'm going to do 5. Y is 10. Now the function I want it to call is I want it to call the screen. So now because I want to pass this as an argument, you are going to write it like this. So now, when you are passing a callback, you are not going to write a function call. Or if you are going to do it like this, this is now a callback. You can see. So this function is no, the JavaScript will now interpret like this. Now take this. So now, if I go to our screen, can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
can hear you.
Check here now. You can see now. Okay, because it's calling this 15. The reason why was okay. So now it's now bringing 15 here. So now do it is that it is coming when it will do something like this. Now it will 5 plus 10, 15. And that's like any callback here. You can be anything, it can be X here. Sorry, you can't have duplicates. But you can have duplicates here, but that's we are not going. Now this one here, now I'm calling it as the callback here. It will also work. It will also work. So if anything you pass here as a callback, this is what we call a callback. This function W here is called a function inside a function. Please, do you have a question?
Most of the explanation you were doing on the callback was breaking. So, well, let me speak on my end here. I was just getting bit by bit, bits of your explanation. It was not full. So I will appreciate if you can just brush through it again because I wasn't really getting it.
I said earlier that callback is a function that is being passed. Now, if you wrap your head around that, it's a function that is being passed into another function. If you look at it here, this my calculator here. My calculator here is a function. Calculator here is a function now. Now you know we said we can pass in a lot of parameters. Now I can say rest here. Don't forget I say rest here. I can also use rest here. And I come here and say rest to see work as the same thing. Because the last thing we have here, what happened? Rest is not a function. Why? Okay, let's leave that aspect for now, Sha. Let's go back to the callback now. I said we pass a callback, we pass a function inside another function, is what we call callback. Let me start. If you look at this one here now, our X here and our Y here, they are just parameters. For the something here I'm saying here, what we are passing here, this my displayer here. If you look at it in line 41, it's a function. When it's now, JavaScript will now understand that when it's running this my calculator here, this callback here, you know that it's a function. Because when you read it, you know it's a function. By merely looking at it, it's telling me that my display here is a function. Now, I'm not saying, if I want to pass, this is what I'm supposed to do. Normally, if you want to do it, this is what it's supposed to do. This is what it's supposed to do. This is a better way of doing it. You say return. Then you now come here, you say return sum. Let's just say let's sum here. You say return sum. This is what we're supposed to have initially. And because we want to put this calculation, we now say my displayer. Now call this thing and my displayer here to be equal to my calculator here. Or you assign this calculator, you say this is how you are going to write it normally. Let's sum here outside here to equals to my displayer. Let's sum here should be equals to my calculator. Equals to my calculator. This is how you're supposed to write it. Then you pass in 5.6 here. Then you are not coming here. You now say you want to display it. You're now going to say this normal way. This normal way of doing it. That means we are going to write the function here assign it to a variable and you are going to display it here. Do you get this aspect, please? Do you get what I just did here?
Yeah,
Huh?
not too well. Not too well.
Okay, now suppose now this is for functional assignment. Now this is a calculator. Let my calculator. This is a function. Let's start again. I can always come back again. This is a function, isn't it? Now, if I want to calculate something, I can assign, just like we said, function is a first class element or first class citizen in JavaScript. I can assign this my function as a variable. I can say let x should be equals to my calculator, and let it be, I'm going to add the parameter, let's say 500 and 600. Do we get this? Look at what I've written here.
Yes, I do.
Okay, if this is clear. So now you are not going to see anything on my screen. Now, if I want to display this thing, if I want to put this inside my document, this is the function that I'm using to put it inside my document. My displayer is one that's going to display it inside my document. It's one that you can see inside document.body. So if I want to display this sum here, I'll come here now and I say my display here, and I put it, and I'll put X here. This one I've written here. I'll put it here. So I will be able to, I want to see it here on my screen. I want to see it on my screen. So if I save this now, if I save this, okay, I'm saving a different thing. If I save this here now, and I cancel this, you can see now it's displaying on my screen. But you can look at it, I'm writing two different functions separately. Is that not? Do you get it to this extent?
Yes, I do.
Now, instead of calling this function outside, I can call it inside my function, inside my main function. I can call it here. So instead of writing this 3 line of code here now, I can come like this, and let me redefine my calculator. My second calculator like this. My second calculator. Let me say my second calculator. Now I want to write another arrow function like this. Now, suppose now I want to write this thing now. This same thing, I want to write it. I want to write it using callback. Instead of me writing these two together. Instead of writing these two together. Now, I can simply write it together and provide the other function as an argument. I can also write this and provide this one as an argument. Now, for example, so now, for example, here, I'm having x, comma, y. Now, instead of writing this thing separately, I can say any callback. Callback, it can be any name. Callback. Now, I'm having two here, and I'm not saying that. I can say it should return, or let's say let sum. Same way we have written here. Let sum. Want to add that two numbers equal to x plus y.
Okay.
Now it should not pass this sum here as a parameter to this callback we are having here, because a callback is an. Now we are saying you should pass this one as a parameter to this. You pass it like this sum. So if you are telling that this third argument, it is a callback. It's a function. It's a function. So now if I want to call this my callback, I say I'm now coming at my second calculator. I want to call it that's my second calculator. I'll be passing in three variables. The first one is the number I want to add. 5,100. Then I want you to print it. I want you to print it to the screen, just like this one. What is that function that I'm using to print it to the screen? It is called my displayer. So it's not, I'm not saying anything inside displayer. You should put it inside my document. So I'm not going to call this my displayer here, copy it like this, and put it as the third argument here. So if I save this now, you can see now it's now here. If I comment out the other one I have, if I comment this out, so you can see now it's bringing 105. Is that clear?
Yes.
So now I'm not writing
different
function. I'm just passing it as a callback. You can pass as many as callback. I can pass another callback here. Say, let me say in this one, let me say another callback 2. Are you okay? Sorry, you are not going to do it like this. Call back to. Now I can call you and say call back to. Call back to. I can call it like this. Now, what I want call back to should do is should tell me my X and Y. For my X, it should give me an alert. It should tell me it should console.log call back to. Now I have to define this call back to here. If I could put it here, what's the name of that function? Let me say show me my show me my parameters. Let's call it like that. Show me my parameters. So because I've not defined it, it will throw an error because I have to define what is showing my parameter here to throw an error because on front error, show me parameter is not defined. So I have to come here now and I have to come and define what my show me is. I can say because it's a function, my function here, the function like this. Now, what I want I want you to tell me this now. So definitely, if I say now, you should just tell me. This show me now is going to take an argument. The argument that is being passed here. I can tell me that I should console.log x comma y. Now, if I save this now, you can see now we have 5 and 100. This is another fallback. Do you get it?
Yes.
Okay, so sorry, sir. So the is it the browser or our text editor? We automatically convert this callback name to the function name that we pass as the parameter.
JavaScript, that's what I'm saying. JavaScript understand that what we mean by callback, once you pass once you pass a function as an argument, JavaScript automatically understand that it is a callback, so it will execute it as a callback. I don't know if I answered that question right.
Yes, you do. Thank you.
So JavaScript once you pass a function as an argument, JavaScript will understand that this is an this is a callback, not just a normal parameter. To understand this is just a callback, not just a normal parameter you are using. So exactly. So there's something we call callback L. You can read about it. We're having less ample amount of time. I think I should go to another thing. There's something we call callback L. What we call callback L is this. You know this. We have this might show my parameter is a function, right? This one too. This show my parameter. This one too can also have. Okay, you can just read about it. You can also have also a parameter. You can also have this one too. Can also have a callback here. This one to show me my parameters. You can also have another callback here, and it can also say callback here. Let me now say we are passing in all is well. All is okay. We don't want it to. What should I do? Okay, I'm thinking of the best way to explain this. So there's something we call callback N. We keep doing one callback inside another. Like now, this one is a callback here now. Okay, this is my callback here. I can also this one too can also take another callback. Let me say it's taking another callback here. Taking this callback to here. So now that's the first one, right? This one here. So this will be my displayer. So now if I go to my displayer now, if I put in this here, let me say I'm thinking of the best way to explain this. Okay, let me just okay, let me use the document if I can get a better way of explaining. There's something we call callback L. You keep putting a callback inside another or let me say callback nesting. Or I believe that should be clear and dealing with nesting callback, understanding nested callback. Well, you can always read about that. Once you understand the basic, what we mean by callback, you are going to pass in another function inside another function. This is an example of a callback. This callback here. Okay, where is it? Solution to callback, construction callback. Now, this callback here is receiving this function here is receiving is taking an is taking this value here as a callback. But let me just use the document. I think W3 3 is quite explanatory about the callback. I'll be ending this class uh, by 10:50, 6:50, just because I have to meet the staff boss so that I will not have to go alone. So sorry, please. I think with this being said, so I think that's okay. I think that's just all. But there's something we call a callback L. Yeah, there's something we call a callback L. Now, that being said, let's move to another thing because we have lesser time. If you read about it or if you work on it and it's not clear, or you read an article, you can always discuss it even after the program or the fellowship. We can always talk and we can always be friends and do something together. So yeah, we can always work on something together. Now we call asynchronous JavaScript. Now what we mean by asynchronous is something, how do I put it? When something is synchronous, when JavaScript, the way JavaScript works is this. JavaScript works synchronously. That means it's follow do one thing after the other. But that doesn't mean that callbacks are also used as asynchronous function. Now, sometimes, for example, now I say JavaScript read from the top to the bottom, it reads line by line, line by line. Suppose now that there's something called stack and event loop and other things like that. Suppose you are fetching a data from an endpoint. Now, it can take like 10 seconds for it to happen. Now, what will happen is this. JavaScript will take that thing and put it inside if event stack, or what they call it. Put it inside its event loop, or the event loop. Yeah, put it there. You should remove that thing from the stack and put it somewhere. When it's finished, it will now bring it back. Because JavaScript is single threaded. That means it can only do one thing at the same time, and it runs from the top to the bottom. Now, these are set timeouts is an example of asynchronous. Now, if you look at this now, you usually use set timeouts. Set timeout is that a delay. What we mean by delay? Like for example, now is a built-in API in JavaScript. If I say set timeout takes in two parameters. It takes in a callback, which we have just talking about now. It takes in a callback, and it takes in a callback, and it takes in the time you want it to be. For example, now this you can see this another callback now. This my second stop here now. Or for example, now if you create a function here, our function, or let me just no, don't let me just use this my displayer now. It's taking this, or you can always define your own. Like now you can define your function like this, just your normal function inside it, and you do something like this. Then you just write, you do comma and you put whatever you want to put there. This is how you set timeout. This function we are seeing here is a callback within inside this set timeout function, because set timeout is also a function. You can also use an arrow function like this, and everything. Okay, everything will work as expected. For example, now if I say alert, to alert 1, 2, 3, 4. If I go back to this place now, I quickly want us to move to promise because we have spent a lot of time. I don't know if it's me, but apologies if there's anything you didn't get. I can always come over again. You can always message me. Now this thing will run. We said 3,000 seconds. Is this okay? We are not in the same page. This is not this page we have. That's why it's not running. I'm going to open my live server again and let's see. Something is not working. I'm expecting it after 3 seconds. It should alert. Um, let me see the error we have. Callback is not a function. There's an error somewhere. That is line. Show me my parameter. Line 58. You can always debug. Okay, this one is not a function. Yes, because I didn't define this. If I go here now, if I go up here now and just say const callback, and I define it like this as a function, that error, okay, that error will definitely go because it's a function. Callback is not a function. This callback here is a, okay, show me my parameter. Where am I calling my show me my parameter? Show me my parameter here. Okay, I understand. So let me just take it away here. Now, the way our set timeout works, it works after 3 seconds. Supposed to bring an alert. Okay, now this is the alert here now. So set timeout is also it takes in a callback as a function. So this one is going to execute after 3 seconds. This function, when it's inside this function, will display after 3 seconds. If I put if I put 5 seconds here and I put 5,000 seconds here, it will wait till after 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, it will run it. Yeah, that is 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, it runs. So that is how asynchronous something works. Now, what happened with this? Why is it called asynchronous? Is that it will block anything that is if there is anything that is supposed to happen, it's going to stop it. It's going to stop it until this thing happen after that 5 seconds. Anything that is happening after 5 seconds will happen after that 5 seconds. Let me use let me use my document. I have a lot of pages open. I don't know what to. Okay. Now, so now let's go to our promise. Our promise is also built in. As I said, promise is built in to solve the issue we have um, with, with callbacks, with callback. Now, for example, now we see we are passing in, and we are passing in my second calculator. We are passing in a function. We are passing in a function as an argument, which is called a callback. We are passing it there, but there is a better way we can do it if you don't want to pass it. Now, what we now talk about promise. Promise is a way. It's just like I have explained to you. Like promise is if I promise you something. Promise can be three things. It can be pending before something is being done, resolved or reject. If I say okay, I'm going to give you money, that's the promise. Or if I say I'm going to score everyone 100%, that's the promise. Now I can either resolve it. I can either accept that. Oh, I can either do what I've said, or I can also reject it, or I cannot fulfill it. Now let's look at this example. For you to have a promise is a built-in, just like function is also a built-in. This function, if you want to create another function, you can use new function. This is how to create another function. This is another way of creating another function, right? This is another way of creating a function. So now, just like object too, you can also create new object by saying new object. If I say new object, if I say const x here, so this one has become a normal object. This one has become a normal object to be considered. So now in JavaScript, you have to create another promise. So you have to instantiate it. That's what we call it. Instantiate by using new. So I now say for example, I say let's sum. Okay. Let's my promise. You can't use promise because especially you can't use promise because it's a reserved keyword. You have to use my new promise. Is a way of doing it. New promise. Now, new promise, it takes in a callback or a callback. We say a callback is a function. Whenever we say a callback, you know that we are talking about function. So this is the function, and I can use an arrow function. They didn't use arrow function. They are using the normal function. So now I'm giving this callback here. Now I'm doing something like this. This is my arrow function here. That's of it, and it takes in two parameters. It takes in if the sum is resolved or rejects. Let's see how it works. If it works or it rejects. Now we can always say if it's resolved, what should it do? If it's resolved, if it's resolved, let's use what's the name of this function? We say we call it resolved. These are parameter. We call it the resolved here. It should just say uh, promised resolved. Now, and if it's reject, okay, for us to be able to use it, let's use something. Let's say let's x should be equals to true. Yes, let's do something like that. Let our x equals to true. So now if I say if it is true, if it is true, it should just resolve. If it is true, it should just resolve. Else, if it's not true, it should reject and say promise rejected. Do you have any error here? Why this is not working? Do you have any error here? No. Unreachable code. Wait, let me see something. Okay, I don't think there's an error. Let's just continue. If this if true, let me just say if x is true. Okay, yeah. Because true is a reserved keyword. Yeah, true is a reserved keyword. I can't use it. True is a reserved keyword. I can't use it. That's why it's giving me that error. But now I'm assigning it as x. Now, okay, this is how you are going to do it. We have made a promise now. How do we now use it? For us to use it, that's what we call, for us to apply this is what we are now going to be using. And then you're not going to come here because it's a promise. You not say my promise, but then this then is, it also takes a callback function in which that's the value in which this value you are going to put in there, and it's taking a callback function like this. We can say console.log value. It will look somehow. But now there's two things. We said if it is resolved, we are going to, it's going to, whatever is inside this then is going to work. So let me say, yeah, whatever is inside this then is going to work. But if it is rejected, whatever inside this cache will be the one to work. It also take a callback function like this, a value here. Anything you want to do with the value, you can do it here, like doing something like this. So you can now do console.log the value also. So now we have made a promise here, and this is how we use it. This is how you define a promise here. We are going to use that define promise, and this is how we use it. This is already 651. This is how to use it. Now, if I go to my browser, I'll save it now. If I go to my browser here, you can see now my document is now hello world. Now you can see we have words. I'm going to remove this timeout so that it won't affect anything. Now you can see now I'm having promise resolved, because what happens is that when it's resolved, I can say promise resolved. Let me say plus. I'm the one used. I'm the one used. You can see now promise resolved. I'm the one. So if this thing is true, because this value here is resolved to be true, it's going to do this. If it's not true, it will do this. So now, because inside then is when you're going to use it. This then here is the value. Now, you can see that we're having this. Let's assume that our S is false. The S is false, then it will reject. That means that's the thing that is false, that it will reject it. Then it's going to use this cache here. I can see it, we are having promise rejected because the value is what? The value, what this one is equal to is false. Now, do you have any question? Now, let's do, instead of, for example, now, let's go to our question here. Now, let's go to this place. This is my second calculator. Instead of using this callback now, I don't want to use this callback here. I'm now saying it should return, let me say, how do I write it? Should return new promise. I think this is should return new promise. And this new promise here should have resolve and reject like this. Now, what should it do if it is true? Now, because this one, there's no error. For as we want to use this, we don't need any this callback again. We don't need this callback again. We don't need this callback again. Now, we said if it is new promise, we have two things. We have resolve, and you can put anything. You can put reject. You can put something like this. Yeah. If it is resolved, you should write. If it is true, it should now resolve, because we are not doing anything here. We are just doing. We are just adding number. It should resolve the number to be. It should resolve the sum. So this is how this works now. We are doing this. It's now resolving to this. Now we can now come here. If you now come here and say dot, then if you want to do dot then here. And we are not do dot then here. Now we are having the results. You can put anything here. The results here is going to take a callback function here, and it should just, what should it do? It should now, what's the name of this function that display my displayer here? Is it my displayer here? It should now resolve. After it's resolved, it should just put in our result here and then display our result. Because we don't have any error, might not need it. So this one will work as expected. For example, now I'm putting 5 as 5 and 100. It's making 105. Let me put 115. Now we are putting one. Now, if you look at it now, I'm putting this here. 112, 115. So it is working. But if there is error, so assuming there is error, you can just use the dot cache here. But there's no cache. If there's, once we don't have error, we just put callback function. Error here and do something like this. Console.log error. But we don't have any error, so this one will not work. It's only this one that is going to work. Only this one that is not going to. We don't have any error. It's not going to work. Please, do you have any question?
Yes, sir. Please, what's the use of the dot then?
Dot then is for us to be able to. It's for able to us to get the value. Like now, when you define a promise now, when you have defined this promise here. If you want to get the value, if you want to get what you want to make use of that value, what this promise resolve to is it can be resolved, it can all reject. If it is resolved, it's going to be resolved dot it is resolved, it's going to have this. So now for you to be able to access what the promise bring, and what is either resolved or reject. If it is resolved, for you to access it, we are going to be using dot then. If it is error, we are going to be using dot cache. That is how it works. Do we get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, these are just the basic. I just find that we just have to do the basic one so that it won't be that difficult to go over. So that's my JavaScript promise. And so I'm finding a way, because I want your task somehow something like be able to. When you do it, you should also be proud of yourself when you finish doing it. So we should have something we call this promise. Sorry for the noise. So this promise was introduced in ES6. Now that was like 2015 in ES6. But now we have async and await. That is EX7. Async and await we have EX7. So now this is an example. You can see if you write if you put an async here, it's the same thing as what resolving this promise dot resolve to be hello. That is how it works. But now let's see an example. But the another because of our time, I need to end this call. One of the good ways to use async and await is when you are using set if you are using set timeouts. If you are using set timeouts or if you are making API calls. Now for example, can you hear me? For example, now we are having this. We are having this for example here, we're having this my display. Let my promise. We are having this. Let me just copy this at the last time of using async and await. Now, this async, you have to use for it to be able to use await. You must be able to use async. You must be able to use async. But if you are writing an arrow function, if this is an arrow function here, this is how I'm going to once this my display equals this. If you are writing an arrow function, you are not going to put it here. You are going to put it here after this. Writing an arrow function, I'm going to put it here. So this is where we are going to put it if you are writing an arrow function. So please, I don't know, we have to end this class. But now look at this promise. Look at this promise now. If it is if you can take this function, you see the same thing now. Let me comment it out. If you take this function here, this is the function here. This is where it ends. I can cut this like this out. I can write const my function hello. I'm just naming it hello, please, so that we can quickly end this class. I just for our own visit. Now I can I don't need this again, and I don't need this again. Now this is my hello. We have we are going to pass in this here. Or we can just keep it just like this before to avoid the. Now we're having this the function now. It's having two parameters. It's either resolve or reject. But because this we don't have anything. If you are making API call, that's when we are going to be rejected. Because your task will require you to make an API call. That's what your task is going to do. We are going to make an API call, but it's just still the same thing. If you search it if you search it online, you definitely get it. Now, if you resolve it, or you can also reject it here. You can also reject. I don't love you. I don't love you. So because this one there's nothing here, it's going to resolve. So we don't need to have this. I believe this is not a clearer explanation of async and await. But because we are against the time now and we need to go, I will be the task I'm going to be giving you will require you to fetch a data from the endpoint, and you are going to style it. And I'll also attach a video that explain a brief video that explain async and await and how you can make API calls with this. I hope that is clear.
Yes, sir.
So I'll be attaching another video that will explain how you can make when you want to make API call in async and await. We will not be doing that because of the time. So I don't know if there's any question. We can take one or two questions before we go.
So are you going to give us assignments or task?
Yeah, there's an assignment. Yes, that's what I'm saying. The assignment require you to fetch data from endpoints using either you use async and await, or you are going to be using or you're going to be using promise. You have to use one of the two. Then after you felt okay, that might be stressful. Well, I'll give you the task. Then you will just have to. If you have any question, you can always message me. I can be able to explain better on it. But the reason why I'm going to make the task like that is that it's somehow going. Because as a beginner, you have it's somehow exhaustive. But once you know that, you have learned 30% of 30% of JavaScript. So I'll try and post the assignment today. Where's my timekeeper?
Okay, Malik. Yeah, I have a suggestion. Or please,
Yes,
first and
yes,
foremost, can you help us share this file? This particular file you're working on, the is it index.js now? Can you help us share the file to the Slack channel? And secondly, I was going to suggest that can you please extend the time for the assignment this week? Like, can we submit on Sunday, 11:59 p.m.
well,
rather than Saturday?
okay, yeah, you can. I think I will. If it's about grading, I can also grade fast. So I don't think that should be an issue. So I would try and discuss with my superior about it.
Okay, because this are sick and now wait. Thank you.
All, all right. Okay, thank you everyone for joining the class. Yeah. If you have any further questions, you can always message me on Slack. Or if you have any clarification, I'll be happy to do it. So thank you. So I'll be ending the class now, and that will be all.
Thank you for the class, sir. Thank you.